Welcome to Daily Timothy Time. My name is Carl Coates, and it's a privilege, pleasure, and an absolute joy to be with you once again with an open King James Bible. Today, Saturday, the 15th of March, 2025, coming to you from Trondheim in Norway, and we are in Genesis chapter 3. Yesterday, we finished off in verse 5. What I want to do today is pick up from verse 4, pick up, then go into 5, then start off where I want to in chapter 6. I just want to get a bit of the context. Genesis 3:4. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die, for God doth know that in the day that ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Verse 6. This is where I'm driving home today. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of both of them were opened, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. Some light commentary here, if I may. Now, this commentary, you're going to have to think a little bit. It's not something that you'll just get straight like that. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But I would say it takes a bit of time. First up, in verse 7, fig leaves. That indicates a fig tree. That would be the third tree we've read between chapter 2 and chapter 3. Remember the other day I mentioned to you about the 4 trees. So that's the third tree, the fig tree. Now, what I want to cover with you today here in a little bit more detail is chapter 3, verse 6. Now, take chapter 3, verse 6. What you want to do is go over to 1 John. 1 John, if you will. 1 John. And you want to look at chapter 2, verse 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. Compare Genesis 3:6 with 1 John chapter 2, verse 16. Study that out for a while. Compare those two. Then what you want to do is you want to go over to the book of James. James chapter 1, verse 14. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. And when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin. And sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. Take those two passages back to Genesis chapter 3, verse 6. And spend a couple of weeks, couple of months just having a look at that and studying that out. You can also throw in there Matthew chapter 4, verse 3, 6, and 8. Then, I don't have time for today, but if you are interested in going one step further than what we've spoken about today, there is something called the doctrine of peccability. You studied it out when you're in Romans chapter 3, verse 23, 24, 25, in and around there. You learn about the doctrine of peccability. I don't have time to cover today, sadly, but if it's something that you are interested in, and trust me, you and I, even though we're members of the church, the body of Christ, we can let our old man influence us. A dead man can still influence you. Your old dead, whatever your name is, ma'am or sir, listening to me, can still influence your thinking. And the doctrine of peccability is a wonderful thing to understand. You know, when Eve looked at the fruit and the whole transaction, when you study out the doctrine of peccability, it's a wonderful thing to study. I highly recommend it to you to hear it at least, and then to think on it for at least a couple of weeks. If that's something that you're interested in and want to learn more about, please let me know in the comment box down below, or if you know my number, if you've got my private number, get a hold of me and I will run through it with you. It is vitally important, and it's something that you and I deal with on a daily basis. Wherever you are around the world, thank you for listening today. Please share this on your socials, and remember to keep your sword sharp, soldier. Till we meet again next time, if the Lord tarries. Grace and peace to you. Maranatha.